Thank you.
Continue.
Praise God, I'm Susan, born again, Christian, and I love Jesus as my personal Savior. And this is part 2 of my story, where after high school, I decided to go and look for green pastures. Okay, so after I finished Form 4, I enrolled for classes, but I didn't finish because I had to take care of some bills and also my daughter. Remember that I was a mother at that time. So I decided to go and look for green pastures. And as usual, those that have traveled outside nation in the Gulf countries, you know what I mean by that. So I went to an agency, and that agency convinced me that Libya is a nice nation and that I should go there because they pay good salaries and it's a nice nation and there's a lot of money there. And as a person who was desperate for life, I thought I should go and try it and see if I could make it there. So we traveled from Kenya to Libya, and there is no direct flight, so we traveled from Kenya, we went to Egypt, then we took another flight to Libya. And when we reached there, the place was calm. We didn't go to the capital city. We went to the small city called Benghazi, and there is where I got a job. I worked as a house help in Libya, and while we were in Libya in the year 2014, the country was not stable. It had a lot of fights. There was a lot of fights in between the two governments that were fighting over power, and there was a group of ISIS in that nation. And so we didn't know that all that was going on in Libya. We went blindly as Kenyans looking for money. So when we reached there, we stayed for some time, not realizing that that nation is having war. So there is this one day when they came near where we were staying in Benghazi, and they started fighting in that street. And that's when we realized that there was war in that nation. So we, as usual, they took us with their car and they took us somewhere else so that we can leave that place where there is fight. And from that day, we moved out of that home and we went and stayed somewhere else. So where I went, I found another Kenyan working there, and we were 2 Kenyans. And there was also another Kenyan that was working there, but not exactly in that same place. So we were 3 Kenyans, but most of the time we used to meet with the other Kenyan. Her name is Alice, and she's my friend. And when we met with Alice, she was a woman who used to love God. So most of the time we used to meet, talk about God, and we used to pray. So there is this time when the war was too much in that city of Benghazi, and then our bosses, they decided to leave the nation and they went to Egypt because they could not stand the fight, and they left us in Benghazi. And then we sat together with my friend and we thought about it, and we asked ourselves, if they can leave us like this, what if we get trouble in this place? How will we survive? So they took us to a relative to stay there. And there is when we had a plan. We came up with a plan of running away so that even us, we can go back to our nation. So during that process of running away, we went and we sat somewhere. We first of all prayed over it, and then we told ourselves, now it's time. We decided to move out of that place. But funny enough, we didn't have our passports with us. We had left our passports with them, but we had faith that when we go out there, God will provide for us and that we will go back to our nation. So we went somewhere in a park. We sat there with our bags, and one man came to us and he told us, what's your name and where are you coming from? And we told them, and they asked us, why are you in the streets? These streets are not safe for you. People are fighting in these streets. Why are you outside? We told them the reason why we are out there. They took us. They were policemen. They took us. They went and they gave us somewhere to sleep for that night. That was day 1. So day 2 we woke up. In Libya there are so many policemen on the streets. Everyone is wearing like a policeman on the streets. So they took us. They put us in a car. We didn't know where we were being taken because we thought they are good Samaritans because of the way they addressed us. So they took us and they took us somewhere. When we went there, in like an office of policemen also, they took us there. They started asking us questions whether we are Christians or we are Muslims, and we told them we are Christians. When we said we are Christians, but we were tying the hijab, and we were wearing big clothes, so we were wearing like Muslims. Okay, they told us it's okay, and then they told us to sit somewhere. Another car came and they put us inside, and we were going around that city of Benghazi. We don't even know where they were taking us. All of a sudden, that driver took us on another route. It's like a journey from here to Naivasha, inside the desert. We went there, and he put us on a camp that it was full of the Jeshi, those men, the army. It was like an army. They put us there. We stayed there for like from 10 in the morning, from about 11 in the morning until 6 in the evening. We were in that camp, and there were only men inside that camp. So no one was talking to us all that time. No one was even asking us questions that time. No one was giving us food in that time. We were just seated there. And because we had run away, I had put off my phone. I had turned it off. I decided to turn it on and see what was going on in the internet. And when I turned on my phone, my brother was looking for me, my people. The agent from Kenya that took us there was trying to find us and see where we went. So when my phone was on, they were calling me and telling me, you ran away and that place is not safe for you. Tell us if you are safe. Tell us where you are. And then all of a sudden, I went to my Facebook account. When I logged in, I saw on my inbox so many condolences. And I asked myself, who is this that has died? So when I went to my profile, I saw a post that I'm being tagged in it, and that was my ex-husband who had passed on at that time. So during that season, I I had run away in a foreign country. And at the same time that day, the news were broken to me that my ex-husband has passed on. So I was in a fix. From there, I didn't think straight. So we were seated there with my friend. I turned off my phone because I didn't want them to trace us. And I talked to my friend. I told her this and this has happened. So I was sad. I was sad from inside because while I was there, I was thinking about my daughter. I was telling God, why are you allowing me to pass through this? And my daughter's father has passed on. Now you want my daughter to remain an orphan. So during that moment, I couldn't be strong anymore. I had lost hope. So we were in that place at around 7. It was getting dark. One of the policemen came and they told us to go outside. We went outside and they told us go. Now my friend was telling me, do you know these policemen can tell us to go, but they have targeted to kill us. They will shoot us from behind. So she told me, don't let us not go, let us stand fast.
Maybe you can share with us, because you are from Kenya and it's a foreign nation. So how were you able to communicate in those periods? Because I believe there was a language barrier. How were you communicating with the policemen, even in that camp? What was happening in that camp that you were taken? Were there other foreigners? Were there other people with you? Maybe you can share. And how was it looking?
There was no other people like us. There were foreigners. All of them were Libyans and they were talking Arabic. So we had learned Arab. So we can speak some few words in Arabic. That's how we used to communicate. And if they get someone who knows English, they will call that person to interpret for them. It's not all of them don't know English, but there are some that knows English. So that they would look for someone to come and ask us questions, and then they interpret the questions to them.
And maybe you can share with those who are joining. How old were you then? You are in a foreign nation. How old were you?
I was 24 years old.
24?
Yes.
Wow. So now you have received the sad news, as you are saying, of the father of your child who was passed. And those who are joining us, the second part. The first part you can go and watch it on the YouTube channel, Rooftop Bible Study. And I would love, maybe you can share something briefly, or maybe be in that aspect of the news has been broken. It affected you in some point, and maybe you can share with us slightly. Did you meet with that guy after high school, or you just after finishing high school you just went to the foreign nation? Maybe you can share something because you have mentioned about the father of your child passing, and may his soul rest in peace.
Before I went to Libya. We had reconciled with him, and I went even back to him and stayed with him like 3 months after I have finished high school. So after that, after high school, we went back together and we stayed like 3 months, and I realized that he hasn't changed. So I decided to leave for good. That's when I started the process of going to Libya. So when the news came to me that he had passed on, we had not communicated for so long. Even after I had traveled to Libya, we were not communicating with him.
And when you were back, were there still abuse? Now that you are an adult,
yes,
you're no longer a child.
Yes. He didn't care that I went back to school. He treated me the same way that he was treating me.
And maybe for the sake of someone who might be having a question, because you're still sharing the same household, were you thinking even of getting another child, maybe?
Yeah. We were thinking about getting another child, but because of the way he was treating me, I felt like it's not the right time. Yes.
Continue. Now this news has Libya.
Okay.
The news
has been broken to me that he has passed on, and I had to be strong now. Now more than ever, I told myself, you have to be strong, because now your daughter is counting on you alone. Now his father is no more. So during that process, I was so much broken. I was so down. I was so low. So when we reached up there, we didn't go. We stood, and then we told them we were not going because we might go and then they shoot us from behind. Then one of the policemen took us in his car, and he went and dropped us somewhere. It is called Red Crescent in Arabic nations. We went there. We entered like 3 gates to reach inside that place. And when every gate was being opened, I was crying for my daughter. Every time I see a gate open and I'm entering that gate, I was really crying in my heart because of my daughter. I was telling myself, now I'm going in the prison and I will never see my daughter again. And his father has just passed on. So we went, and inside there we found other women, and they were like criminals. So we talked to them and we asked them, is it possible when someone enters here, is it possible for them to go outside again? Because there was a language barrier. We used to speak Arabic to them. That was the language that we can all understand. Because we found people from Morocco in there, people from Chad, people from Tunisia, different African nations. They were in there. So they were women. So I remember even one of those women was having a kid, and another woman was having was telling us that she's a criminal, that she's the one that ISIS is using to bomb out there. So she was caught by police, which we didn't know if it is a true story, but being in there was even hectic and hell for me. I remember me and my friend, because we were the only Kenyans in there, I told my friend, what has God decided to do with my life? He has decided to leave my child an orphan completely, without a mother and without a father. Because when I was entering those gates, I knew I'm entering into a prison. While we were inside there, my friend, she quoted a scripture for me, and she said, do you remember Paul and Sila? They were in the prison, and then the doors of the prison opened. To be honest, I was not convinced by that story of Paulo and Sila. I remember at some point I was calling myself Paulo, she was calling herself Sila. Now we were 2 Paulo and Sila in that place. She told me that I should not worry, that God is with us, and He knows we are in there, and He knows that He will redeem us when the right time has come. So I was not convinced. I still told her, did God decide that my daughter will remain an orphan completely? She convinced me that God is with us. So I had to believe that God is with us.
And here you're not born again?
No. I'm not born again. I'm not born again.
But you're building, your friend had faith.
Yes.
Was she born again?
Yeah, she was.
Wow. Uh-huh.
So I was trying to build my faith. I was trying to understand God. Why are you making me pass through all this? Now I'm in prison and my late husband has died and my daughter is in Kenya alone. Her mother is in Libya. Her father has died and my daughter is in Kenya alone. What is your plan over my life? That night I didn't sleep. I just stayed awake, thinking about life, thinking about so many things. The next morning at around 9, we had those gates being opened. And someone came inside and said, those 2 girls that came yesterday, come outside. We went outside. We took our luggages. And then they told us to go. They didn't even care where we were going. They didn't even have a reason why they are releasing us. And even for us, we don't even know where we are going. So we decided to leave because it was a safer place. We didn't see so many policemen, and so we decided to leave. We stood on the gate, outside the gate. Now it's on the road. We waited we were seeing people passing, cars passing, and no one is caring even about us. So we were praying there and telling God to send help from heaven. Unfortunately, we did like this, and someone stood on the road, and a car just came and it stood, and we entered that car. There was one man inside. He was wearing jeshi clothes. He took us. We went. He took us somewhere very far, very far, very far. We can't even recognize because it's not our nation. We don't even know Libya. We are there. We don't know where we are being taken. We had decided if it is dying, let us die, because now where God wants to take us, let him take us, because we had no hope. It's not our nation. They are not our people. They are Libyans. We are Kenyans. So he took us somewhere isolated, in an isolated place, and then he told us to get out of the car. And we said we are not getting out. After we said we are not getting out, he went to his car and took out the gun and pointed it on us and asked us, are you going to come out? We said yes, we will come out. So we went outside. We knelt down, our hands up. So we were trying to convince him and telling him, please, will you forgive us? This is not even our nation. We are Kenyans. We have been mistreated. Don't kill us. Please forgive us. We didn't mean to do anything wrong to you. That man was trying to harass us sexually. But by the help of the Holy Spirit, it's like just something spoke to him, and he stopped harassing us. He was touching us. He was mistreating us. So after that, when he had stopped, because he was threatening us, if we don't listen, he's going to call his gang of many people, and he was scaring us how they are killing many people, many Christians. Especially he's telling us, you're not even Muslims, we can kill you. But we were begging by the mercies of God, and God heard our cry, and he calmed himself down, and then he took us in his own car, and he drove us, and he went and dropped us somewhere that we don't even know. After he had dropped us there, we went back to the city of after he had dropped us to that point, while we were standing and just watching, and just because we have seen death with our own eyes, we have never seen a man showing us a gun. Even me myself, I've never seen it, so it was a shock for us. So while we were standing there, a Sudanese man came, and he stood by where we were standing, and he looked at us and he talked to us. He asked us, "What's your name?" We told him our names, and he asked us, "Where are you going?" And we told him we don't even know where we are going, but we are going back to the city called Benghazi. And this man was kind. He told us, "Okay, get in the car." You know, we have not even learned the lesson. We were ready to die, because we are getting into cars of strangers, people that we don't know, but we are trusting them and getting inside their car. So even this is another man, and we are still getting inside the car, and we don't know where he's going to take us. But he was, by the mercies of God, he took us to Benghazi, and then he went outside of his car. He went and looked for food for us, and he bought food for us, and drink and water and some drinks, and he brought it to us. And he told us, "Are you okay here? Are you sure that you are where you wanted to be?" And we told him, "Yes, we are okay, we are sure. You can now leave." And then that man left. After that, we went back to where we used to work, because we wanted to take our passports. We didn't have passports when we were going outside. He told when we reached on the gate, there is a boy that belongs to that family. He chased us away. He told us, go, you're not supposed to come here, you're not supposed to be here, you ran away, go, we don't want you, we don't know you. So we had to leave again. We went on that street. It started raining. We went on that street, walking, trying to find somewhere that we can rest, but we didn't find rest. We walked on that street. One of the men saw us, and he came. You know, in Libya, women don't walk outside. Only men walk outside. Women are not allowed to walk on the streets, and yet they are seeing women walking on the streets. So one of the men came and told us, "We know a place where Nigerians live and Ghanaians. So we want to take you to their houses. Maybe they will give you shelter there." So we went and we tried to knock on all those doors. There's no one that opened the doors for us. We were outside. It's getting late, and we are asking ourselves, where are we going to sleep? Are we going to sleep on the street? And it's not safe to sleep on the street, because we don't know, by any time those gangs that are fighting, those teams that are fighting might come and fight on that street, and it is not safe for us. So we had no home, we had no one would open their doors for us. In Libya again, no one can open a door for you if you are a stranger and they don't know you. So in their custom, they are not allowed to open doors for anyone. So we were suffering out there on the streets. No one will welcome us, no one will have mercy on us. Only the Lord had mercy on us. We stayed on that street until it was night time. We went inside a building that we don't know, and we decided to go there and see if we can see a place where we can sleep until the next morning, so that the next morning we can find help. We can see if we can find help. When we were seated on that building, it was ground floor, and there was a door immediately after you enter that building, there was a door and there was a room there. We sat there. There were kids playing there, and those kids came to us, and then they ran outside to buy for us something to eat. They bought for us cakes, sweets, juices, and biscuits, sodas, and they brought them to us, and they told us, eat, eat, eat. They were small kids. I think one of the kids ran to his parents' house and told them there are ladies that are down there. So one of the men came out and he shouted on us. It was a very loud voice. He was talking out to us in a very loud voice. He was asking us, why are you here? Who has sent you here? What are you doing here? Why are you here? We don't allow ladies to walk outside at night. Why are you walking outside at night? Who are you? You are criminals. So he was shouting on us. He was shouting so much on us. We tried to explain ourselves. We tried to tell him we are not bad people. We were brought by an agent, and that agent abandoned us. We were working in a certain home, and we ran away from that home because they left us. They went to Egypt. But that man could not understand. He told me to give him. He told me I give him my phone, so I gave him my phone, and I told him to call the number of that agent. But unfortunately, because of the war in that nation, the agent had relocated from Libya, and he had gone to Jordan, so he was not available. We were like hopeless people and homeless people. This man, we tried to convince him, we tried to show him that we are not criminals, and he gave in to us. He believed us, he trusted us. So he took us to his home, and then he told the wife to prepare something for us to eat. The wife prepared something and we ate, and then when we finished eating, he told us, I want to take you somewhere. That place is safe for you. It is not good if ladies will be outside at night in our nation. You are foreigners, you are not from our nation, and you are outside. So I want to take you to a safer place. We told him it's okay, let us go. So he took us to and handed us over to, it's like a DCI of Libya. They took us. They were gentle with us. They didn't mistreat us. They didn't harass us. I remember that other man took my phone and he gave this other DCI. So they were monitoring my phone in case we are criminals, in case there is any call that will come, they can receive that call and ask who are they, what do they want with me, who am I, if there will be any record of criminal. They checked my messages, they checked my photos. He went through my phone and he told me that night, that man told us, eat and sleep. They gave us another food and we ate because we were depressed, so we were eating a lot. So we ate again, and that day that man told us, you will sleep here, but tomorrow you will take me back to that family so that they give you your passports. So we slept there. The next morning we woke up, we took a shower, and then we went to that home. When we were on that street, we really struggled to locate that house. We knew it is this street, but when we passed, we are not seeing the house. We were passing, we were going forward, backward. We cannot see the house, but by the mercies of God, we saw the house, and we went there. And this policeman that was with us, he was so harsh on them. He told them, why did you mistreat these girls, and you know this is not their nation? And why did you could have given them their passports? Why are you allowing them to suffer like this? So the policeman talked to them, and they told them, okay, we are bringing their passports, don't worry, but we don't want them back here. So we went with that policeman. He told us he told us when we reached there, stay here, your passports are coming, and I will take you somewhere safe. So from that experience, we were being taken to somewhere safe. By the mercies of God, it's true, they brought our passports to him, and then he took us somewhere else, and we went. It was a nice place, it was a free place, and then we had our own passports. We stayed there for 3 weeks, and then he came back. That same man used to come and check on us if we are okay, if there is any problem, if we are having any problem there. He came again and he told us, you have 2 options. You either decide to go to Europe, or you decide to work here again, and then you will be taken back to your country. Because we're having a problem right now of flights, you cannot be flying outside this nation because of the war that is in this nation. So you will have to stay until the time that the fight, there will be an agreement and the nation will be at peace. So he told us, the way to Europe, you will have to use a boat. If you saw on the news, many people were dying during that time. They were using boats to reach to Europe, and it was not safe. So we decided we cannot risk another way of dying, and we were about to die. So we decided, let us just work and go back to our nation, and that is what happened to us.
And all this while, what were you thinking about your daughter? Were you thinking about your daughter? And then also, were you keeping record of time in those situations? How long did it take? For someone who is watching, maybe might be wondering, how long was that? Because there's so many events, 3 weeks. How long was that period of struggling in Libya for the sake, and how emotional were you concerning your daughter?
We suffered a lot. It took us 3 days to get help. Only 3 days since we ran away. On the 3rd day, it's when we got help from people that we don't know. It was just by the mercies of God. And during that time, I was being traumatized. I was being sick. I was being drained. I could no longer be strong anymore because I was thinking so much about my daughter, my life, her life. So many things were running on my mind. That is another season that I was so much depressed and traumatized. And I used to feel like the Lord has forgotten me and He has forsaken me. But the way He used to come through for me during that season and during that period, and during those moments when He used to send help, we didn't even know how things were working. Things were working very smoothly. Yes, we were struggling and it was hard, but at the end of it all, God used to make a way, and we didn't know how He was making a way. So, despite the struggle and everything, God was making a way. And I want to make another statement. So, during that time when we got help and we had rested, and now I'm not troubled anymore, and we are in a safer place, that's when the day I was in a safer place and I was resting, it's the same day that his father was being buried. So his burial found me in a resting position. That's when I could now start contemplating on how God has been so good, on how God has brought me through seeing death and life and all that struggle in a foreign nation that I don't even know. But the Lord brought rest to me.
Maybe for the sake of the viewer, maybe they are wondering whose father was being arrested.
My daughter's father.
Oh yeah.
My daughter's father.
Amazing. Now you decided to work in a foreign nation again.
Yes.
So tell us more about that. How long did it take?
The plans of God are so amazing. So we went through all that, but there was no another way. You see, the only way was 2 options. There was no another way that they would pay for our flights to go back to our nation. So the only way was for you to continue working so that you can go back to your nation, or for you to go to Europe, which was still a death experience. So there was nothing I could do by then. I thought maybe it's time for help and it's time for me to go back home. But God had another plan. He needed me to learn from the process. So I had to be strong again and work for another 1 year and 8 months there for me to go back home.
Wow. Amazing. So maybe you can share with us, now that in those places that you are in, you are saying you're a Christian, yet you're not born again, you're in an Islamic nation. Was there any time that you thought you could maybe convert to Islamic in the place where you are?
Yes, there is a time, in fact, me and my friend, we reached a point where Satan came in us, and we decided to change our names. She was called Yasmin, I was called Miriam. So we were changing our names and pretending we are Muslims so that we cannot be mistreated anymore, because the mistreatment was too much. So we decided to change our names. They are asking us, she's saying Yasmin, I'm saying Miriam.
And maybe you can share with us maybe the place where you being a Christian, is there a persecution that happened to you? Persecution like we read in the Word of God, persecution of Christians. When you go to nations where maybe, is there anything of the kind that happened to you in Libya?
Yes. We were being isolated so much because you are a Christian, and they didn't like us. Every time we used to go somewhere and they hear we are Christians, it's like they don't want to help us because you are Christian. Because the first question we were being asked, even when the first people found us on that park, they asked us, "Are you Christians?" We said yes. Even that man that was showing us a gun, "Are you Christians?" Yes. So, if you are a Christian, I have to mistreat you the way I want. I have to. You even deserve to die. You don't deserve to live.
So you worked. Were you communicating with your family?
No. After
being
everything.
restored,
Yeah.
You communicated with your brother?
Yes. My brother, my mother.
And by then, still your child was young.
Yeah, she was very young. And I could feel for her so much. I could figure out what she was going through, seeing her father being laid and her mother is far away from her. So I used to be so much disturbed.
Okay, so for our viewers, we'll continue the story back to Kenya and also the life when she'll tell us when she got born again. So thank you. Watch us for the next segment, part 3.